Good morning, America and the world. I haven't made videos on the trike for a while because I've been sick. Morgellons trying to kill me and all that stuff. But I'm back on it today. What I'm doing here is, this is a shock from a Dodge, what was it, a Laredo? And it was the smallest shock absorber I could find, actually. And so, this had a little wobble at different conditions. Not like bad at any one time, but I noticed it crop up once or twice. And it can't have that. I can't have a wobble. Trikes are already kind of, they're stable, but they're not like a motorcycle, where a motorcycle has two wheels that balance. It becomes very balanced, and you can still get a wobble, but it's smooth. But with three, it's going to shake side to side and throw it into a wobble, with the solid axle there in the back. So this is what I got going here. I cut that so it would notch into the frame right there. This will fit underneath the tank cover. It comes out right in this range here. So as long as it can manage it side to side without any trouble as you turn from left to right. My plan thus far that seems to come out the best is this U-bolt here. This U-bolt shall go on here like this somehow. And the bracket I made here, is that the right way? That'll go on there. And this will be on, oops, other way. So it's probably not too hard to figure out what I'm going for there. This will be up here. This will be bolted up there. Might need to space it out a little bit. That's what I'm working on right at the moment. Figured I would make a short video on how it's going. I went through the carbs again the other day because I'd used some sealant on the float bowls, which I knew better than, but I thought, well, this sealant here will probably hold up okay, even if it gets a little gas to it, and it didn't. It kind of gelled, and I think it was clogging one of the carbs a little bit. So I took them off, cleaned them, put them back on. The suspension ended up being like this. There's the coil spring, which is centered on the leaf spring, which is held to the swing arms through these great big eye bolts. I moved the differential, or the rear end has been moved back 3 inches or so, and the body I had to actually move back a grand total of like 7 inches, so that the shocks could be straight for the drop links I made. And I welded the exhaust the other day, so no exhaust leaks, and I'm pretty happy with the exhaust actually. It's good. Just got the pieces out here been laying out. There's the Billy Badass straight pipes. Chop chop. Thinking about getting rid of this because I don't like plastic chrome. And then look at these 6 lights could be useful. I guess the plastic chrome, like on the light itself, is okay, but just sections of it I'm not real fond of. That's metal. That's aluminum, I think, polished. I'm not sure. I got it sitting level. That was the biggie. It was leaning to the left because, oh yeah, I should finish telling you that. It was leaning to the left a little every time I'd set it down. Like, I'd dropped this rear end like 3 or 4 times and checked everything. And like, what the hell? When I realized is there's some discrepancy between this swing arm and that swing arm, which I do not know why. Nothing looks bent that I can see, or appears to be, or measures that it's bent particularly, other than I get some slightly mismatched readings. Like, but when you look at it, there's a slight difference between those 2 foot plates there. And like this one over here, maybe this side's slightly bent. I don't know. That could explain for it. It's not very much. It would amount to a 1/4 inch of distance over the rear end. And what was I saying? So it would lean to the left when it would come down, and that made it pull a tiny bit. Not enough to be huge, but as annoyance, especially over a long ride, right? So in getting rid of the short little shocks that had basically no suspension, it used to go from here to there. There was just motorcycle shocks with heavy duty springs on them, like off a BMW or something. It had really no give. So this centers it so that the spring can be in the middle, and it's all, you know, pretty beefy there. I don't think I'm going to have any issues with that. And I did have to take the drive line past its limit, but there's still an inch of spline in there. I'm sure that's enough. I just need to figure out how to seal it. So anyway, back to it. This is the strut from my van that I took apart and cut up. I took the plates. This one is obviously bolted. This one here is clamped on at the moment. Probably going to weld that at some point here, but right now it's fine for positioning. And I turned it so that the inclination of the spring would push it a little bit this way to compensate for the little bit of that way it wants to lean for some reason, because of frame something. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I can't even say what it is. It just wants to lean to the left just a hair, but it doesn't do that anymore. It rides nice and straight, and it's great on the freeway too. Like 70 or 80, it's smooth as can be. Just wah! Oh, I love it. I'm not a big trike fan either, but I'm starting to like it. Although I don't like motorcycles. You know, I think that is it. You can kind of see that's right now that I'm looking at it and everything's at an angle. All right, that is it. This got is bent down just a bit, or up, I should say. This looks like it's going at a downward angle, but anyway, maybe it's, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to be a pretty heavy individual to step on here and bend that. That's like 1/4 inch plate. But I digress. Anyway, I've got the lean issue straightened out. Now, I did go to the straight pipe exhaust. And normally you mess with exhaust or intake and you change the jetting. However, I having been a motorcycle mechanic for a long time, I've discovered that you can change your exhaust as long as you don't, go to just. I mean, you have to have some exhaust, but as long as you don't change the airbox, the jetting isn't a terrible problem generally. I've been able to, as long as the airbox is unaltered and it has the same amount of restriction and everything, then that's the majority of the jetting is through the airbox thing. If you can change the exhaust and if it changes its run characteristics and it don't run very good, or you lose power or something, then you got to figure that out. But if you go with a more free-flowing exhaust and you haven't changed the airbox, what I did is the mixture screws, well, I need to reset them again, but the mixture screws, I'll set it to their optimum, smoothest, best, idle and run and throttle response, and then give them like a 1/4 turn more, just to compensate for the less restrictive exhaust. But since it's going to have the stock airbox, I'm not worried about rejetting it. As far as that goes, we'll just have to see. This needs to be redone back here. I just needed something to hold this in place, and today that's all I could manage at the time. So I think I'm going to make a square bracket that goes straight down with square tube, straight across with a piece of plate, and another square tube, and that will hold the motorcycle frame rigid to the back frame by more than just these plates right here. This is gate hardware, but there's only so much gap here and here. I couldn't put thicker plate in between, and I couldn't go way to the outside either, and there's a lot of compromised conditions to get this thing together, but I think I've addressed them all pretty well, and I'm looking forward to riding it today. Yeah, and I'm amazed at how the wheels kind of match, Got lucky on that one. So that's what I'm doing, and back to the stabilizer, so that there's no chance of it having any wobble, and so you can ride one-handed and change the radio station, light a cigarette, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna make a video of me working on that. I wish I had a time-lapse thing working, but I don't. So. And so far, no chems today, so that's nice.